everyone, and welcome to Ohio Valley Couponer. My name is Nick. Welcome to my channel. And I've actually been couponing now. In February 2023, it's going to be my 9-year anniversary, which is crazy to me. I cannot believe I've been couponing for almost 9 years. It's literally, I'm only 22 years old, so legit, I've been couponing for a very large portion of my life. But over those years, I've seen a lot of stuff change, and we've seen a lot of new couponing ways. It used to be you got your paper coupon and it doubled, and that's what you pay for it. And now it's a lot more digital and digital rebates and things like that. And the deals are still there, but it's definitely changed a lot. And that brings up a lot of new questions. It's not as basic and simple as it once was to get a deal. It's a little bit more mathematical and okay, you pay this and you get this back, and figuring all this out. And it can actually be pretty overwhelming sometimes to figure out what this couponing stuff really is costing you. Plus, there are actually a lot of hidden costs to a deal as well. A lot of hidden costs that a lot of times we don't consider. When we think cost, we think, okay, here's the item, minus the coupons, minus the rebates back, there's your cost. And that is true. At the end of the day, that is what you ended up getting your deal for. However, there's just a lot of different ways to really look at things. And so we're going to dive deep into that in this video today. We're first going to go over some of the hidden costs associated with couponing, and then we're going to talk about how I personally count my couponing hauls, and also how there's different ways. It's actually kind of weird. There's two different ways that people break down their hauls. There's either the net cost group or the cash basis group. And both ways I think is fine. Sometimes people combine the two to kind of make their hauls look better than they really are, which you gotta be careful when you do that as well. But we're gonna talk about all that stuff in this video. It's gonna be great. So let's just dive right into it. So let's first start out by talking about hidden costs, or maybe ignored costs might be a better word. Things you wouldn't necessarily think about impacting a deal, but in the long run, it actually does impact a deal. So I'm gonna give you an example. This is a deal we had a long time ago. I don't remember the exact math. I know it was a moneymaker, but this Renew Life stuff is $9.99. Let's say it's $9.99 at Kroger. We have a $5 off coupon, so we're paying $4.99, and let's say Fetch Rewards has 6,000 points back. That's going to make this totally free plus a 101 moneymaker. That's what we say in the couponing world. We tell you guys the net cost on a deal, because that's the net cost for everybody. However, there are other costs that you kind of have to think about when going for a deal that might not make it so cheap at the end of the day. So net cost is this, but you got to consider your own possible costs that would go along with that. You might be thinking, well, Nick, what do you mean? Let me give you a few examples. First up is your sales tax. This one gets ignored so much, and I have been one that I just can't ignore it. I can't ignore my tax, because that at the bottom line can really add up. So in my area, sales tax is 7.25%. So that means for this, I'm actually going to end up paying 72 cents in sales tax for this item. So it's a $1.01 moneymaker, but I'm paying 72 cents sales tax. That moneymaker, it's still a little moneymaker, but it's not quite as great at that point because I'm paying all that tax. And that is huge, especially with stores like CVS and Walgreens and stuff. Their regular prices are so high that even with the deals and the coupons, you still a lot of times end up paying a lot of tax. So you got to keep that in mind. That's one of the reasons I got turned off from CVS. For me, let's say there was a moneymaker deal on some CoverGirl eye pencils. They were $5.99, buy 3, get let's just say a $6 extra buck. And I had $3 coupons on each or something like that, and a CRT. And let's say I was going to pay $2.97, but get back a $5 extra buck or something. People are going to say, oh, that's like a $2-something moneymaker. Great. But in the end of the day, for me, it wasn't so great, because that is $18 of product, which means I'm paying my 7.25% sales tax on that retail value, which meant my $2 moneymaker wasn't so good anymore. The tax ruined that. So you gotta keep those things in perspective. Of course, there are ways you can combat that. You can use Fetch gift cards at CVS to cover your tax or whatever. And a lot of times people will say, well, you're getting so many great products. And if it's something you use, then that's great. But if it's just some random thing you're picking up for a rebate or a deal that's a moneymaker, but at the end of the day, it's not such a great moneymaker when you consider the tax. Another thing that's kind of, weird to think about, but it does matter, is your gas mileage. We got 2 Walmarts in town. One of them is farther from me than the other. And so if I'm going to make the extra trek down to the other one, I got to make sure I got enough deals to really, really, really make that worth it. So let's say this Renew Life we were talking about was $1.01 moneymaker. Let's say you live 7 miles from the store and you're going for this moneymaker. You're making $1.01, but you're going 7 miles there, 7 miles back. Let's say gas is $3 a gallon. You just use 14 miles of your gas up, which more than likely ate up the moneymaker from this. So you've got to keep gas in perspective as well. Not so much anymore, but newspapers, if you still buy papers or a lot of papers, I'll be real, I don't buy a lot of papers anymore. There's a lot of weeks, I'll be real, I don't even buy one. But if you still buy papers, you got to consider, okay, am I getting as much value out of this coupon? If I'm paying $3 for the paper, which is what we pay now here, am I getting more than $3 worth of coupons out of this? And let's go back to that CoverGirl example. Let's say that you wanted to have 3 sets of inserts for a week so you can do that CoverGirl moneymaker. Let's say your newspapers are $3 a piece like mine are. That would require me to buy $9 worth of newspapers just to get those coupons. So when you think about it that way, I paid $9 to have a $2 moneymaker. That was hardly worth it. That was hardly worth it unless you're planning on using a bunch of other coupons in that week's paper. And a lot of times I would only use a couple of coupons out of that given insert. The coupons don't last as long as they used to either. So there's a lot to think about. Now, sure, these hidden costs don't hold up to everything. Let's go ahead and debunk them. First, the tax. There are ways to get around your tax. You can use gift cards and things like that from Fetch points or things like that to help lower your out-of-pocket. Great. That's awesome. Another thing you can do with the gas money instance. I was saying that about maybe you have to drive 7 miles there and 7 miles back. Well, if you're just going for one deal, that's kind of dumb. But if you're going for a bunch of deals, maybe you're going to do a big haul, $100 worth of stuff for $5, that was totally worth your gas money to go. Maybe a couple dollars extra gas money. You're still saving huge. So kind of combining hauls and things like that. Also, you can combine like errands together with your couponing. So I actually had somebody comment that their daughter, they drop her off to school and then just run in and do some deals when they're already out anyway. That's a great tip. Or if you live close to the store, that one doesn't really even matter. The newspapers, there are ways to get free inserts. You can ask your friends and family if they got coupons. You can go, our library has like a coupon exchange. So you can like take the coupons you want, put some extras in that maybe you found. There's ways to combat these hidden costs for sure. But they are things you should keep in mind when you're couponing. Don't just like ignore them. And tax, definitely. That one can add up so quick. So we do tell you guys the net cost on a deal, but you do got to consider the cost that it might not cost this person this much money, but it could cost you more money to do a deal. So keep that in mind. So now we are going to talk about how I consider my coupon hauls, like what they technically cost in my mind. What I tell you guys on my haul video, what things cost, that is the net cost. And there's a couple different ways people break this down, but the two are the net cost and the cash loss or gain in some instances. So let's talk about that, kind of what both of those are. Net cost. Net cost is a simple formula. It's what you paid minus what you got back in rebates equals your net cost. Now, in the net cost world, the cost does not include any gift cards or extra bucks or anything like that you use. Net cost is the price you paid after coupons. Those other things like gift cards or extra care bucks, things like that, that is store money. That is like money. That is not a coupon. So sometimes people will do something called double count, and this makes a lot of people angry. That is when their subtotal will be $10.29. You're getting back $5. That makes your net cost $5.29. But they say, oh, I used a $10 extra buck, so I only paid 29 cents, but I got back $5, so I made over $4. Well, technically, kind of in one world, but not the net cost world. That's considered double counting because people are using the money that they earned on a previous trip to pay, but then they're counting the new money they earned. And that's what they consider double counting. But net cost, that true net cost formula is the price you pay after coupons, not counting any store rewards or gift cards you use, minus what you got back. That is your net cost. Then there's a new one. This one's not as talked about. And I was somebody who was like rigid, net cost, net cost, net cost. But I got really frustrated with that because a lot of rebates, I wasn't getting back in my bank account right away. And I was like, whoa, this haul was supposed to be a $20 moneymaker. Okay, but I lost this much out of my bank account for it? What's up with that? How is that a moneymaker? I made money, net cost, but I don't got this money in my bank account. I got to find a way to pay for this. I didn't make money today. Technically, am I going to make money in the future, maybe? Yeah, but not today. And so there was a months I went through that. And I'd like be paying my credit card off because I use a credit card and I just pay it off. Like now it's once a week. I used to pay it off once a month, so I never have interest, but I just go ahead now and pay it every single week. It's easier to keep up with it that way. But I would be like, where's the moneymaker at? Where's the moneymaker? I didn't make money on all this stuff like I thought I was going to because I hadn't got all my rebates back. Some of these apps I'd use, like I used to use Checkout 51 and I'd be lucky to hit a rebate or two on that a month because there just aren't that many deals on Checkout 51 anymore that you can use coupons with. And so it'd be like, I made money on this with Checkout 51, but I can't get Checkout 51 out until I get $20. And that same kind of principle goes with some other apps as well. You know, Kroger Cashback, if you want to cash out to PayPal, which goes to your bank account, it's $20. And then with Fetch, you don't even see that money in your bank account. You can only get gift cards. So I could be going Fetch crazy one month, doing $50 in rebates, saying it's a moneymaker, but I'm never seeing that 50 hit my bank account. You know what I mean? And that same kind of principle, I see this even more with drugstore couponing. So a lot of people will do like Walgreens. They'll say, I made $50. Let's say they paid $50 and then got back $100 in Walgreens cash. Oh, I made $50. Net cost you did, if you're viewing it that way. But in my head, if I did that, I didn't make $50. I just spent $50. Yes, I have $100 in Walgreens cash, but in my bank account, that's a $50 loss. I paid $50 and got nothing back in my bank account. And so that's really where I started to change like my mind about all of it. Because like I said, I'd get frustrated. You know, I'd go in and pay that bill and I'm like, okay, here's what my balance is. Here's all my rebates back. Where's the money makers? I didn't make money. I owe money on this stuff. And it was just like, this is not working. This is not what I want to do. And so I really began to rethink all this. And really ever since then, I've become a cash basis couponer. That's all I care about now. The net cost really doesn't bother me that much. I mean, it does because that determines if I do a deal usually, but it really does mean more to me to know what it's going to cost my bank account versus what rewards money I'm losing or this or that. I'm more concerned about the real money than the store money or the gift card money or whatever. So let me kind of explain. Now, I do want to say I'm not going to quit sharing the net cost for deals because everybody's cash basis, my cash basis isn't going to be the same as yours, you know? I actually consider this, I took accounting in college and there's two different kinds of accounting. There's financial accounting, which is the public accounting and the financial statements and all that stuff. But then there's cost accounting. And that's honestly how I consider couponing. Net cost is the financial accounting because that's what it costs. But cost accounting is what internal users in a company use to see figures that really just impact them. It doesn't really impact their stakeholders or anything like that because it's just what their internal usage is. And that's what it is to me. So I share with you guys the net cost. But for me, a haul, maybe I say this haul net cost was $10, but let's say for cash basis, I only lost $2 or something like that. Let me kind of explain how that works. Bear with me. This is kind of, I don't want to be confusing, but this is how I view things. And let me explain it. You might view things differently, and that's totally fine. For me, this is what Nick is concerned about in my bank account. My formula. What did I pay out of pocket? Okay? Out of pocket. Not before gift cards or anything like that, but what did I pay out of pocket? After gift cards, after extra bucks, after things like that, after all that, what did Nick pay? That's what I worry about. Minus the rebates I get in my bank account. Not all the rebate apps, you get it in your bank account. Fetch, I don't get it in my bank account. Merryfield, I don't get it in my bank account. Kroger Cashback, typically don't get it in my bank account. I usually use it as like a credit at the register. So when I'm doing my haul, I actually don't deduct those things from the cost. I'm not deducting fetch points. I'm not deducting my Kroger cashback because I'm not getting that today. That can't go in my bank account. That's not going in my bank account. Instead, what I do is I count that off of my out-of-pocket when I'm able to redeem it. Okay, so you're seeing it really does flow and work out the same at the end of the day. The money makers, but in my bank account, it allows me to know what I'm really losing today. And then when I'm finally able to use the rebate that maybe didn't hit my bank account, that's just a bonus later. Okay, so let's say there's a haul, and we're gonna break this down. Let's say there's a haul. It's $20 out of pocket. Okay, we're gonna do it both ways. 20 out of pocket. Let's say I got $10 back on Ibotta, $5 back on Fetch, and $5 back on Shopkick. Okay, net cost is $20 out of pocket, minus $10 from Ibotta, minus $5 from Shopkick, minus $5 from Fetch. Net cost world, that's free. Cash basis world, $20 minus $10 from Ibotta I can get today, minus $5 from Shopkick I can get in my bank account. Okay, but I can't get my Fetch in my bank account. So in my bank checkbook, in my checkbook registry or whatever, that is a loss. I paid 20, I only got 15 back. That's a loss for me of $5. Let's go. Let's say I went back to the store the next day and I bought $5 worth of stuff. And I got back $2 on Ibotta or something like that. Okay. Net world, $5 minus $2 back equals net cost of $3. In the cash basis world, $5. Let's say I used my Fetch gift card from the trip the day before. I'm finally able to use that. I'm counting that $5 off of today's trip. I paid nothing and got $2 back, so I made $2. In the grand scheme of things, the cost really is the same for both days. For both ways, I mean. Net cost, it was the $3 because it was $0 the first day, but then it cost me $3 that second trip. But in cash basis world, I lost $5 the first trip, but then the second trip, I made $2. So $3 again. Again, it does work out the same way, but in my bank account, it's a lot more clear. And I avoid some apps. I don't really use Checkout 51 because it has taken me like 6 months to a year to cash out. So I don't use those apps where there's not a high turnover. I don't. With Kroger Cashback, it's the same kind of deal as it's with Fetch. I'm not going to count that off of my trip when I earn it, but I'll use it, I'll count that when I use it, and it'll help my out-of-pocket. But any rebates I can get in my bank account, I deduct off. I really hope this is not confusing, but I wanted to just explain how I did it. I know some people have told me before, like, I don't understand your way at all, and that's fine, but there's others who have said, thank you so much for explaining it that way, because that is how they were really struggling with the net cost way. And if you're like me, I struggle with that. So this way just makes a lot more sense. And like I said, it all will eventually flow out the same. But if you're just more focused on the dollars and cents in your bank account versus whatever, then this is just a more clear way for me and how I do it. It really allows me to see what is going in and out of my bank account. This is what I really spent on couponing this week. And it just works out really well. So guys, I really hope this helped you out. Let me know down below, how do you do this? Do you do it the net cost way, or do you do it the cash basis way? Of course, I'm going to keep sharing net costs with you guys because that is what a deal does cost, essentially. These are the amount of offers you can get back, and you can determine how you account for it in your own personal bank account or however. But anyways, that's all I got. Hope you enjoyed, and thank you so much for watching.